John, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. It's been years since we've rowed together, and it's just good to catch up with you. So I guess the first question is, why rowing? What drew you to the sport?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. It's lovely to catch up, and after all these years, absolutely wonderful. What drew me to rowing? I started off as a rather ordinary cricketer, and after a couple of years, after 2 or 3 years of cricket, the senior boys in Sable House convinced me to come and give rowing a try, and invited me to get to the October rowing camp. And I thought that sounded like a bit of a weird idea, but let's do it. A week of our holiday spent at a rowing camp. But anyways, we did. I decided to go and do that. Went on the camp, and I must say that sold it for me. We had such a ball. It was absolutely brilliant. And from that camp onwards, that was me. I was sold on rowing and thoroughly enjoyed it from there onwards.
Excellent. Now, those October camps are legendary for drawing people in for a start and for keeping them there. So as a member of the Jeppe crew, how did this camaraderie ship and the commitment impact you in your adult life?
Yeah, I think we learned a lot. I think I was fortunate to also still, Ali Francis was still around, coaching us as our first 8. I mean, obviously when you were there in the year after, when you had gone. And it taught us so much. The fact of just doing it right. I mean, we had to do it over and over and over again, and he didn't relentless. He just kept going until we actually did it correctly, and no matter how long it took. And you know, the commitment from the boys to actually get that right, and working under Ali to actually get those things to absolute perfection, it made all the difference. And I think taking that on to life later on, you actually learn that unless you get it right, you have the correct technique, you can put in a lot of work, you can work as hard as everybody else, but the differentiator is to actually get that perfection, the absolute technique, the timing of getting it right. And for me, that's carried on into all aspects of my life. Sport that I've done since school. You know, paddling. You can see guys paddle 6-7 times a week, train like crazy, and if your technique's better than them, you're a step ahead of them. In anything we do, I mean, motor racing, in whatever you do, the technique of getting it right is so much more important than just going out and doing it. And that's stuck with me with everything that I do. It's been great. And you know, from the JP point of view, the guys, we have our reunions every 5 years. There's a real camaraderie, such a special time of our lives, being at school, and especially the JP, being at JP. It's just absolutely incredible. I still try and maintain, or I do maintain. We had a pretty special year, class of '84 in matric, and it was wonderful, and we've had wonderful times since then when we get together and have our reunions every 5 years we have without fail, and it's fabulous to have that camaraderie with the JP boys. Very special.
That's fantastic. John, how do you believe we can really, as ex-JP Oarsman, and how can we get them involved with JP Boats and Blades? You know, so just as in terms of an initiative to cater for the needs of the current and future oarsmen.
Sure. So I think, Greg, what you guys have initiated here is absolutely fabulous. I mean, I've been not absent from the school, and we've been to a lot of rugby games. We've had all the reunions. We've been pretty active as a group in a lot that's been going on at the school. But I must say, not that much from a rowing perspective. And rowing's, I think, almost been in the background, and a little bit of a difficult one to commit to going to rowing regattas is quite different. But the initiative that you've now done, I think critical, is getting hold of all the old boys, and the fact to make them aware of the problem with the boat was, for me, just really, it was, I just couldn't believe it. Couldn't really fathom that we had a first 8 that had to borrow a boat. And I think the awareness of any of the rowers, guys in the rowing club, to actually understand that what this actual situation is regarding that boat is critical. I mean, for me, that was, from a rowing point of view, a turning point to say, I've got to get involved and try and help. And certainly drive that home. I mean, we got the rapier in I think 83. I think when you were in your matric year, the new boat, and what a fabulous experience to have a new boat. It might not have been the fastest boat in the field, but in '84 we lost SA champs to St. Stithians by a bow ball in the rapier, and we were proud of that new boat that we had up against an Impaka, brand new Impaka, the yellow boat, that everybody was just amazed by, and we lost only because they were at the finish of their stroke and we were at our catch over the finish line on a photo finish. So I mean, it's critically important. They've got to have the right equipment to be able to compete properly, and the awareness of that, I think, is critical, Greg, is to make sure that gets to all the guys to try and help that situation.
And we absolutely agree with that as well. So in fact, just on the side, the first 8 situation is the very reason why JP Boats and Blades got started in the first place, because we also found out about that, and we were quite amazed as well. So John, from your time at JP Rowing, can you give us one significant memory that you recall with fondness, something that's stuck in your mind?
There's so many, Greg. I mean, there's piles of them. And I think everybody, pretty fond memories always, I think, go back down to Buffalo Regatta. I think they're always special every year. We've had the most wonderful experiences. In '83 with Jake White as our exceptionally experienced cox, getting us onto the river, onto the Buffalo, in an absolute howling wind blowing up the river. Nobody else was anywhere near the water, and we got on the water, turned the boat upstream. We told us to strike our blades, square them up, and the wind blew all the way past the 2,000 meter up to past the start in a single stroke. But obviously the challenge came when we had to turn the boat around to come back down, and we sunk at the 2,000 meter mark, and had to find our way back down and get rescued and get towed back in. And the ridiculous thing was, it took so long to recover the boat and get us back there, that when we arrived back at the finish line where everybody was, the wind had died, everybody was getting onto a flat river, and there was word out that we had sunk our boat. So, I mean, it was great. I mean, we some fabulous moments regarding Buffalo. In our '84 year, I think we stayed over at, it must have been Aliwal North, and got there very late. Everything was closed, but we wanted to go down the water slides. So we broke into the resort, found all the pumps and the hoses and everything, and got the water slides going, and had our own session in the park, in the water park. So I mean, we had a wonderful time. They're all lovely, fun memories.
Excellent. Yeah, I remember sinking. I think it was the Alley Cat at that time that we sank. So yeah, I remember it very well.
It might have been Elio, yeah.
Well, John, thanks so much for your time. It's been amazing to catch up with you and to hear your stories. And just for everyone else listening in, please do go check out our website. That is jepboatsandblades.co.za. And until we connect again, please keep calm and keep pulling together for gold. Thank you very much.